What's up, guys? Welcome back to WCS America. We're currently in the last match of the night, Vibe versus Sage. And Vibe pulling off an upset. A lot of people would say in game one, and he now has the one game advantage. He's one win away from advancing to the next round and knocking Sage down to the group play of the Challenger League.
You know, that last game was so refreshing for me.
Yeah?
It's been a long time since I've seen a pro game where it was like a cannon rush and then like another cannon rush and then the Zerg takes the weird bases and the Zerg. It was just.
That was insane.
It's fun to see games like that. It's like, no, you don't want to see it every game, of course. Obviously, I don't
Right.
want a game to evolve to the point where all he sees those games. But you know, it's been a while since you've seen a Protoss do that, and it was a fun game.
I'm not going to say it didn't work either, because again, if he just has a second pylon there reinforcing his stuff, his Void Ray comes out, he has, additional cannons there, and that all-in doesn't necessarily work. So, I'm okay with how Sage opened that game. And I definitely think, going into when all those links and rushes were being made, I think Sage was in a good position.
He was at that point, of course. The Protoss player who fell to that Roche speed lean all-in last game in the bottom right of Aklon Waste, the blue Protoss, is Sage. And his opponent, fellow Root team member, the Red Zerg at the top left, we have Vibe. And I think this is a good point. I don't feel like Vibe had to do that all-in though. I mean, he was typically, if a Zerg reacts well to a cannon rush, they're going to be ahead in macro than they normally would be, as far as the worker counts go. Because the way both the sides' production works is that the Protoss delays their Nexus. They lose half of their ability to produce probes, right? Because one Nexus versus two, X amount of energy for Chrono Boost versus 2X. But for a Zerg, so much of their production kicks in when the first queen pops out and they get that inject. So Zerg is, if both people delay their expansions for a little bit, then Zerg, of course, is going to be able to explode in drone count. Of course, that only helps them to have an additional mining base to mine from, so they have to get that second base pretty soon. But the disadvantage for Zerg in a situation is the fact that they have bases in weird locations, much more difficult to defend from airplay, from Zealots running around, and so going into the mid game, it can be really tricky to play. And that could be why Vibe decided to go for that all-in.
Now, if you're Vibe, you're up 1-0. How do you play this game? I feel like just going for a strong macro game and see what happens there could be a solid decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to go for, something a little crazy. You're up 1-0. Why not try something that, it's deep inside your pocket that you haven't necessarily shown you?
That would be pretty exciting if he pulled out a build like that. Of course, Aklon Waste is kind of a tough map to do a lot of trick builds on.
Yeah.
I almost think if he wants to do a trick build, the best one isn't... Well, two-base Stormhost can work here, actually, with the Nidus. That's actually a decent build on Aklon Waste. But also, Aklon Waste is a great map to do, like, just like an 8 Hydra poke. Are they really going 3 to 4 base Mutilus? And you just kind of leave yourself open and assume that Protoss will play very macro-heavy 3-base. So you literally just make very few units, just drone up like crazy and do insane Muta switch. Mutas are, I think, pretty good on this map, so...
Yeah.
We may see Vibe go that way. We'll have to wait and see.
Most of the ZVPs I've seen lately on this map have involved the Mutilist.
Moving between the third base and the main is so strong. And then also when the Protoss takes a fourth base, then you can move between the fourth base and a natural. So
Yeah.
there's so many like air distances that are so short, whereas, besides Blink Stalkers, it's very difficult for ground to navigate.
Oh, one link able to be annoying here.
That is quite annoying.
What's his? I get a Zealot. Just get a Zealot to
Yeah.
get that. You're getting a Zealot anyway to block off the wall. So.
Some people skip the Zealot, in which case that Forge will be taking a lot more damage, and I would like that. In fact, he is skipping his Zealot. So he's going to wait for that Psycore to finish, but that means the Forge is going to take damage.
Yeah.
He should still be able to keep it. In fact, he's actually just going to pull a Probe to help out. Probe can attack the Zerglin.
Yep.
Actually, he's not going to. He's just going to ignore him. Wow. The Zerglin gives up, though. Once they keep an eye on the Probe, Vibe thinks that's more important. If he stayed on the Forge, he wouldn't have killed it before the gateway unit popped out, but he would have hurt it enough that potentially it could be a weaker spot later in the game.
The Ling able to see the +1 or the +1 upgrade on the Forge, so that's valuable intel in and of itself.
And the fact that I don't know if he's not being Chrono boosted.
Oh, I'm not. No, I don't think he
Yeah,
did.
so that would have been really nice, especially if we saw that Chrono boosted plus the Warp Chrono boosted. You can anticipate a gateway timing, but is actually going straight to Stargate. So maybe Sage was trying to show him those things to get him afraid of gateway units. We'll have to see. Overlord is going to come in here into the natural stage, and what he's looking for is the amount of Vespene gases. And if he doesn't see the third or the fourth gas being taken yet when he gets in there, he's going to really suspect some decent amount of gateway pressure.
The Stalker marching across the map here for Sage and actually going to be retreating to deal with the Overlord, but this Overlord should be able to spot that Stargate.
Yeah, the Overlord coming to the main. Yep. And there's one, I think they can see one of the gases in the natural, just hanging out there with a natural. So that's a nice combination. Seeing the Stargate and seeing no fourth gas should tell him exactly what the build is. If the Protoss doesn't get double gas after Stargate, you know they're not following up with a robotics facility. They're following up with gateways instead. And that's going to tell Vibe, okay, I just need to get maybe an extra queen or two, and you need to get the roaches out. And if you just see the Stargates, but you don't know that they're getting the gateway follow-up, often Zergs can over-drone and get torn apart by +1 Zealots, even if they can defend the Stargate play.
Vibe able to track down one of those Zealots across the map.
Zealots always die.
Yeah. But the first Phoenix is out here for Sage.
And Vibe doesn't know about the proxy pylon at the top of the map.
Oh,
a
that's
probe
so
somehow
important.
snuck out. A ninja probe.
He doesn't even have speed, and he hasn't started it either. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Just
man.
now starting speed.
Vibe needs to find these proxy pylons. Of course, he has the Roach Worm, but he hasn't built roaches yet because he doesn't think there's any imminent threat because he figures units have to leave the Protoss base and he'll see them leaving. But these proxy pylons mean that if his Zerglings are
drones.
Yeah, he's going to build nothing but drones. Although he did see he saw multiple warp gates just now, I think. So he knows exactly what's going on, but oh man, if only he knew about these proxy pylons, he would have roaches out ready to deal with this. As is, though, he's just starting to roaches.
Wow. Okay, so these Zealots might be able to get a lot of damage done. If there's good news, he's able to track down like a Sentry and a Stalker across the map with the Slowlings. The bad news is going to be Phoenixes and a bunch of Zealots here. Tracking down Queens, drones. We have 6 roaches on the way.
Run, drones, run!
3 spores.
I mean, Vibe's got to save the drones at a third base too. Just got to run them around.
Yep, keep those guys alive. The Zealot's targeting down the spore. Phoenix is looking for that queen. They're going to get it. And the spore is not going to get canceled. Drones got to run.
You know, the Phoenix is going to lift up one or two of the roaches too to make this an easier, make the Zealots a little more effective. In fact, they're probably, lifting up the full life roach. A great play by Sage. You have limited, this is something a lot of people get wrong. They lift a hurt roach, say not kill it faster. But with 4 Phoenixes, you'll kill whichever roach you lift. You have limited lifts, so you'd rather use them on the more valuable roaches.
Right. All right, so let's take Tabitha. It looks like Vibe has been able to fend off the attack for now. 2 Zealots going to be marching to that third, trying to get some more drone kills. 58 to 51 is the Harvester lead, but we have a third being secured here for Sage. And adding on a cannon, trying to take down those rocks to give himself some more protection.
Vibe is actually, he's going for Roach Hydra. And on Acheron Waste, that's a tough combination to make it work unless you tech fast as well, because the third base is so easy to defend for the Protoss player. These Phoenixes are being so effective.
And already a Robo Bay, and the Phoenixes can pretty much scout exactly what's going on.
I mean, as soon as Vibe realizes that third base is there and it's not going to be taken out by Roach Hydra timing, he's going to have to go straight for Hive. That's really, you can't play against a 3-base Protoss with Roach Hydra on their tech. Unless you can overwhelm them quickly with like Roach Hydra Crop here, but that's, on Acheron Waste, that's so hard to accomplish.
Sage doing a great job targeting down drone after drone with these Zealots. He's up to 19 workers killed, which is a phenomenal number. Robo Bay going to be finished up here for Sage. So you're right. I don't see Hydra timing working here once you get those Colossi out, but he's going to have to go, as you said, straight into Hive, get some Vipers out.
He's not building drones. And the fact that he's building Hydra that's not drones, I feel like he's going to go for the timing, but he does have Hydra range. With the chokes on Acheron Waste, though, I just don't see this aggressive tactic really working out too well for him. Oh, there goes Infestation Pit. He definitely needs to not
Hydra's
wait too
just
long
getting
on that.
picked off by Phoenixes.
There we go, more drones from Vibe. Vibe's in such a rough spot because ideally against a Protoss from this position, the Zerg would have a 4th base finishing up. And it would really be closer to 150 supply. So Vibe's in a position where he's kind of behind in tech. His Hive tech hasn't started yet, so he's not doing a super fast tech. He's on even economy, which is not where you want to be when you're behind in tech. And his army is actually smaller than the Protos's. The Protoss army value is significantly ahead of the Zergs, almost twice the value.
It seems like Sage is pretty much one step ahead throughout this entire game. You know, starting with those pylons at the top of the map. Once you don't scout that, it's going to be so hard.
That's so big.
To react properly, right? You know, the Zealots are going to get drone kills. If he was making drones as the pylons are being made across the map, as the Zealots were marched on to creep. So, you know, once that starts, all the momentum is going to be in the Protoss' favor. We have 6 Swarm Hosts in production here from Vibe, so try to make something happen.
You know, I like going Swarm Hosts. If you're behind, Swarm Hosts are a great way to try to make a comeback.
Gotta be careful. Force fields.
He can knock out this Forge.
Alright, he's going to take it. I would run the Roaches to that mineral line.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it probably wouldn't do too much, but it's hard to tell how valuable that trade was. I mean, he lost a lot of Roaches, but if it goes into like a later stage of the mid game, if he's not facing a Protoss who's going to move out very soon, stalling that upgrade is actually a pretty big deal.
Yeah, attack upgrades, especially when Colossi are involved, especially when you're trying to deal with a lot of Locusts, are very important for the Protoss player.
Oh, and look at this. He's building a lot of Spore Crawlers in the middle, which I love. I think it's so much more effective than getting the Spine Crawlers because they'll keep the Phoenix back as well as keep the Colossi back, importantly. And if you think about the Colossi are a threat, and your opponent has to kill the Spores or Spines before the Colossi can move forward, a Spore Crawler is cheaper than a Spine Crawler and has more life as well. It's 400 hit points instead of 300 and it's 25 minerals less. So it's much more effective against Colossi. I think the damage output is fairly similar. If anything, the Spore does a little more.
Sage is sensing what's happening. He does not want that strategy to get going. He's going to attack across the map here. 5 Swarm Hosts in production.
He might have too much. He might be the Swarm Over Vibe.
Vibe needs to burrow his stuff. There we go. Where's Locusts? Locusts need to come out ASAP. Spores trying to get the damage done to the Void Rays, to the Colossi, to the Phoenix. The Hydra's coming forward as well. The Locusts trying to get by. Where are the Observers? Okay, there's one Observer. Keeping that Observer alive is going to be very important. So you can actually see the Swarm Host. But Overseer is in play here from Vibe. He's going to look for that Observer with those Hydras.
You know, Vibe's defending this very well. He's able to... The way he positions the Hydras is scaring Sage into not charging in, which is just buying him time to get a few more units out.
So many Stalkers.
Yeah, I mean, Sage is a stronger army. But Vibe with some great plays is holding off for now.
As long as he can keep his opponent away, as he gets more and more Swarm Hosts, he's going to be fine. He's got to be able to snipe the Observers, so that's very important. He sees it. Oh, he's going to try to... He does get the Observer. That's huge. Units to have it. Okay, there's still one Observer somewhere.
I don't think it's with the main army, though.
So you got to back up the Hydras. Let the Locusts do their stuff. Stay away from those Colossi with the Hydras.
Spore Crawler is doing work on the Void Rays. Both Void Rays go down. Here comes the Observer, though. The Hydras are being forced back. There's no Locusts left.
More and more Stalkers coming forward, and does Sage just have too much? Brute forcing himself forward here.
Oh, the Swarm must have to retreat. Vibe picks him up. He gets back.
Oh, the Stalkers blink forward. And plus, I think it's +2 weapons about to finish on the Stalkers as well. And I don't know what stops this.
Oh, man, if he can get one more Observer snipe, he might buy the time he needs.
Yep.
Speedling's actually doing a decent job buying time for more Locusts to come out. But there's such a good job kiting by Sage to minimize the Locust damage output.
I honestly don't see the Observer.
I think it might have died again. Vibe doing a great job sniping those off. The second one came in. I think he did pick it off.
There's one Observer somewhere. Oh, 3 DTs coming in.
Oh, no, there's no Overseer. That 4th base is going to die DTs. The 3rd base is getting picked off by the Blink Stalkers. Oh, man. The DTs are like the last thing Vibe wanted to deal with. I think he'd be happy playing 3 base to 3 base, but 2 base to 3 base is a tough spot.
I mean, and ironically, remember, he had all those Spores earlier. But,
he did.
Sage able to take all those guys out and then setting the DTs forward.
You know, Vibe has actually got a supply lead by being so insanely cost efficient due to having the Vipers in his composition that if he just sticks around the Swarmos. Oh, but Sage is going to say, you know what, if you're going to be cost efficient, I'm going to use my mobility. And just attacking absolutely everywhere.
This is how you deal with Swarmos, essentially. Just send units all across your opponent's bases.
Oh man, losing the Hive. I mean, Vibe's down to a single hatchery right now.
Wow, Sage playing so abusive. He's absolutely everywhere. There goes the hatchery that was trying to be remade.
Oh, now Sage pushing in. The Swarmos are at risk here. Locust coming down. Abduct's going in on the Colossi, though.
Then we're going to see the Time Warps onto the Locust and the Roach trying to keep him away. But the Stalker's blinking forward.
Oh, taking all the full energy Vipers.
Not sure. Well, there is an Observer here in this composition. But, you know, Vibe still has the supply lead, 170 to 138. Trying to get the damage done. Stalker's blinking forward, trying to take down that Viper. He stays alive just barely.
And you know, the thing is, Vibe can't replace these Vipers. Remember, the Hive went down.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to build Vipers.
His layer's just now finishing.
He still has his Infestation Pit, so Lair can go directly to Hive. But, I mean, the problem is Vibe also is... his economy is not very good. More Zealots coming back into the main. He can't lose those tech buildings. Roach Hydra goes to defend. I feel like Vibe, actually, if he hangs on... He is. He's gonna... Oh, but there's a DT. He has no detection.
He did, but he turned away. He thought he was done with it, and he was dealing with that other attack. Now, keep in mind, his opponent is getting a 4th base. There's DTs at the 3rd. There's Spores there, but not many units. One Roach trying to deal with it.
Drones help out. He's gonna fall, but... And Vibe just on the edge, but the Swarmos are keeping him in this game, keeping the bulk of the Protoss forces back. Sage is keeping Vibe pinned down on economy, but he's losing units to do so. So he needs to either continually expand so he can keep out producing Vibe, or he can, if he can afford to, if Sage can find some extra resources and maybe add in some Templar, that could be a way to pretty much put the nail in the coffin.
You know, he can still make... Oh, pulling a Colossus over the edge and taking him out with the Roaches. Great control there from Vibe. And Vibe can still make Swarm Host. He has that Infestation Pit, is still alive, it is off creep, but Sage unable to snipe that down, and he's remaking his Hive. DT finally got dealt with at the 3rd base. Locust getting some decent trades, and hold on a second, Vibe. Can he take down this army?
Viper coming in again.
Oh, there's the pull, but the Stalker's blinking for trying to take that guy out. The Colossus goes down.
The Viper survives yet again. This Viper has, I think he's transfused it like twice already to keep this guy alive.
Wow.
So important. But Sage, again, using his superior economy, saying, you know what, I may not be able to take your army, but I can keep it in one place. Another warping in the main of Vibe.
I mean, yeah, like Sage is on 4 bases. It's not like Vibe has been able to disrupt the economy or the production of Sage in any way. And the key to winning this game for him, keep the Swarm Host alive and keep being ridiculously cost efficient. Make sure your defenses are sound in all your additional bases.
You know, I'd like to see Vibe maybe add some more stacked defense, because he has a good amount of extra minerals. And it's kind of weird because he's in a situation where his economy is so low. He says, I'm going to need those minerals going forward because I'm actually not going to mine much more. My natural's almost gone. My 3rd base is all that I've left. So I understand him not building them. It's a really tough call. And the thing is, if he builds like 4 spines in a base, Sage is happy because he'll just warp in 12 Zealots and he'll kill the 4 spines. I mean, trading mineral for mineral is something Sage wants to do at this point. So it does kind of make sense Vibe stay more mobile.
Finally, it's the Warp Prism.
Oh, that's big.
Oh, the Locusts are kind of going the wrong way here.
There should be another wave up before. He's going to lose his hatchery yet again. But, oh, no, the Locust!
Okay, now it is.
Yeah, if they went down and then Sage just went, he could have just killed the
up
Storm. Yeah. That could have been very ugly.
Viper's still alive. I wish it counted how many abducts it's had.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
It's probably at 3 or 4 Colossi so far. Now he's building 4 spines. Those, of course, are going in his 3rd base, realizing that as he moves to establish a 4th base, the 3rd base becomes very vulnerable.
Locusts going the wrong way.
Oh, they are. Sage is moving up here.
He's going for it. He has a lot of observers here. Oh my god, he's going to lift up the Stormhost back up, going to re-burrow, send the Locust down, the Vipers. Oh, Blinding Cloud on the Stalkers, that's perfect. That's exactly what you need to do. The Colossus trying to get in range, but you can't just do that with Blinding Cloud in effect, and the Colossus getting taken out. Potential, almost a disaster situation there for Vibe. Turns out pretty okay after all.
It was. I mean, he still lost, I think, 3 or 4 Swarmos. Yeah, it was cost efficient, don't get me wrong, but when you're this far behind, you have to be, like, perfect. You can't afford to lose anything at all, so...
Sage with a little bit of indecision, only sending Stalkers at the base. The Hydra's able to be pretty cost efficient as well. Locust taking out more Colossus.
He doesn't want to be stuck in that corner without a recall.
Yeah.
So just setting the units that can blink back, but he was unable to take down the hatchery. And you know, Vibe is now behind in supply. Sage taking a 5th base. Vibe's trying to... He really needs to take that 4th base now his natural's mined out. But he has Hive Tech now, so he's adding more Vipers. He's got 2 if he's adding a 3rd Viper. Sage is starting to add into his Templar. Now he's got double Robo Colossi. He has Colossi counts up to 5. So Sage is really getting, he's improving his army.
And he's tacking on that base at the top right, too.
Continuing to out-expand Vibe. Vibe getting Pathogen Glands. So Infestors could be added in, and a couple of Fungals combined with the Locusts can really deny Sage from constantly retreating away from the Locusts, which is what Protoss needs to do if they don't quite have the firepower to kill all the Locusts instantly.
This is reminding me a bit of Baby Knight versus Stefano. Do you remember the game they had on this map?
I heard about it, but I don't know.
It was a pretty good game. Oh my God, Colossus getting. I thought they was gonna get pulled into the ravine, but big engagement gonna happen here. A lot of High Templar here from Sage, getting the feedbacks onto the Swarm hosts. And I think, will this be the overwhelming force that Sage needs? Time Wars being thrown down onto the Locusts. Swarm hosts gonna back away. Great storms, and the thing with fighting Locusts, you have to kill the Locusts, then go for the kill. But Infestors are on the field. Great bungles onto the Stalkers. That's exactly what you need with this composition, but is it going to be enough storms going down onto the Swarm hosts, onto the Locust? The Hydra's trying to come forward, but more and more storms here from Sage. He's up 162 to 107 in supply, and he's still got to wait for another Locust Swarm to pop out, but oh, so many going to fall.
Yeah, I think this is it. It was really, as soon as he added storms in that composition, he was able to kill a Locust fast enough to then push forward before the next wave is ready. The Colossi alone didn't cut it, but Templar, man.
GG. Wow. What a game.
That was really well played on both sides. I mean, Vibe made a serious error early in not having a Zerg being patrolled the right side of the map.
Yes.
Like, he got FIFA so far behind because he never knew about that Ninja probe that was building pylons, and he lost so much to that Zealot Phoenix composition. But then his mid game was just phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, he was so far
He did
behind.
what he had to do to just try to stay in the game. He was trying to take that next step to try to get the lead as far as securing that 4th base. But Sage did a great job just taking more and more and more bases. Because, that's the thing with this composition. You can't necessarily abuse that. What's to stop the Protoss from taking all the bases on the map if you're going Locust?
It's really tough. I mean, the big thing there is Vibe was so far behind from the opening, he didn't have the extra money to really mass stack defense up the sections of the map to buy time for the Locust to be cost efficient. So Sage really used that advantage, saying, okay, I know you can't afford to defend everywhere, so I'll just keep attacking everywhere, and eventually you're going to starve out, and eventually I'll get that composition needed to take you out.
Definitely a lot you can learn as a Zerg or Protoss player in that series. Vibe showing, great patience, trying to come back from behind, and Sage showing just how to deal with that composition. It was hard at first, but that he made the right moves to get to where he wanted to be. And he's going to tie the series up at 1-1, which means we're going to be jumping into the last game of the night. Guys, you're watching WCS America. Don't go anywhere.